2021 Callaway X Forged CB. Is it a better performer than the 2018 version? Or same club, it just looks different? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome to Coastal Golf. Really glad you stopped by and taken a look at this comparison video of the 2018 X Forged to the new 2021 Callaway X Forged CBs. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. You have to be new here, it's my first video. So appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Let's get some more videos going. So let's take a look at the new 2021 X Forged CB. All right, let's start with getting some numbers from the 2018 X Forged 7-iron. For this, I'll be hitting the brand new Chrome Soft X Triple Track. All right, first one felt good. Pulled a little bit. Thin. Carry was still good, spin, stayed up. Hey everyone, thanks again for stopping by. Hey, I want to learn a little bit about you. Go down into the comments below and tell me what clubs you're playing right now. I want to get a good idea of the type of clubs you're playing, learn a little bit about you guys. So as you can tell, this is a new channel. I'm going to have a lot of club reviews, on-course vlogs, course reviews. If that sounds like something interesting to you, go hit that subscribe button. Come back for more. Coming up next, I'm going to have a review of the new Callaway X Forged UT iron. So come back, check that out. All right, let's start our look into the new X Forged CB irons by looking at the specs and comparing those to the 2018. The club we tested was the 7-iron, so if we look at the loft, 33 degrees, that's going to be a pretty traditional loft for a cavity back forged iron. If you look at the Callaway Apex blades, they're going to be at 34 degrees of loft, so you're not going to see very strong lofts like some of the other irons that have different technology that produce more ball speed, launch the ball higher, some of your player performance type clubs. So for all intents and purposes, these clubs are identical specs. If we come across and look at the offset, the only difference you'll see is that the 2018 is listed in inches at 0.110, where the new 2021 is listed in millimeters. If you go out to the Google converter and convert millimeters to inches, you'll see that 2.794 matches right up with the 0.11 inches. So from a design perspective, from the way these are built, offset, blade length, everything that you can see, these clubs are identical. Let's take a look at the new irons. You're going to see a very similar shape between the X Forged CBs and the 2018 X Forged. You'll notice a more satin finish with the new irons as well compared to the chrome of the previous version. Callaway has added some custom internal and external weighting. The tungsten in the toe is going to align the center of gravity precisely behind the middle of the club, while this big external plate is going to allow Callaway to precisely dial in the swing weight while keeping that center of gravity perfectly centered in the iron. Both of these irons look very good from the playing position with a very thin top line and minimal offset. Again, you'll notice a more satin finish with the new irons, as well as an identical shape to the club face. All in all, the shape of these two irons are very much identical. However, one area I did notice a difference was the width of the sole. Measuring it out, the new X Forged CB does measure about a 1/16 of an inch more narrow than the previous version. All right, that's enough talking specs. Let's go launch them. All right, now let's move to the 2021 X Forged CB. See if there's anything to it. Wow, first swing felt really good. Ball speed looks good, numbers look a little off, but right at the target. Let's keep going. All right, another one a little bit thin, similar to the last round. Again, decent ball speed, 126. Carry still got up to 174. I think more importantly, the spin stayed up at 6,700 as opposed to 62 on the last time. So that's going to give you a little more that stopping power still, even on the miss hit. I'll take that. All right, felt really good. Let's take a look at those numbers. To capture these numbers, I was using the Flight Scope Mevo. I did have the metallic dots on the Callaway X that I was hitting. I have spent some time hitting the same 7-iron on the GC Quad, and some things that I noticed. Let's first talk about those numbers. Is that the ball speed and the launch are very, very accurate. Where Flight Scope has a little problem is getting that consistent spin number. So as we see here, this 8,000 is probably a little high based on what I would expect to see. I do think the 7,300 to 76 is typically where my 7-iron is, that high 6,000s to low 7,000. So Flight Scope does use that spin reading to calculate the carry. So I'm not going to weigh as much on these carry and spin numbers as I want to look at the ball speed and the launch. So looking at the ball speed, you can see some good ball speed numbers here from the X Forged 2018. 127, this 122 was the thin shot that I hit. So it did keep up that ball speed quite well on a miss hit, averaging out at that 128. Where the 2021, you see slightly higher numbers. I also noticed a lot more consistency. Obviously, some of that comes down to ball striking, but I did use a very like-for-like shot selection for this test. So 131 down to 130, 129, and this 126 is the other thin shot that I hit with the 2021. You can see on the launch, very similar, 18.1 to 18.2. And as you would expect, they're going to perform very similar. But I would say that the 2021 does come away with a slight edge, that it did increase the ball speed performance. Talking 1 to 2 yards, it's not going to be a huge difference, but they have made it better. What's also different that isn't going to show up in these numbers is that center of gravity adjustments that they've made to more finely place that center of gravity. And that's going to help with allowing the player to more easily square the club at impact. Again, those aren't going to show up in numbers, but over multiple shots and a lot of testing, I would expect to see the new 2021 be a little bit more consistent on dispersion, but again, need to spend more time with that. Final thoughts on the X Forged CB irons. If you're a fan of the X Forged line, these are going to fall right in line. Better performance. We saw from the ball speed that there's some ball speed gains. There's going to be some dispersion gains through that finely tuned placement of the center of gravity. They look very good. I like the satin finish. You get to see a little technology, which you don't get to often see with that back plate there on the back of the head. So I definitely recommend checking them out. And talk about checking it out, continue to come back and check this channel out. We're gonna have a lot more good content. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me some comments. Look forward to talking to you again. See you soon.